Okay, so, you know, hey, so, like, as it stands right now, like, I'm still waiting on the threat assessment to determine whether I can be trusted to be on my own. But if it's determined that I'm a definite threat, then it's gonna be a long time before I can be e- e- free again, And the problem is, like, you know, you know, I, I admit that I get bullheaded sometimes, and at times, I don't know if it's all the time or maybe it is, but it just, you know, every little thing adds up, and like, you know, and like, there are times where I just need to get away and just learn to just, like, just accept things as they are and all that. But there, you know, I'm not always the happy-go-lucky kind of person, and that everyone thinks I should be. Like, it's like I'm like another Elon Musk, like, but I'm not the kind that likes to. I don't care the kind that would like design rockets or electric vehicles or whatever, but like, but I mean, maybe a bit ADHD as well, but or something like, I mean, but I have to probably see my family doctor to see if I am, because I could be, yeah, like, very well ADHD as well, because my attention span has just gotten short and I don't pay attention to things, and been late on some of my a lot on some of my medications and all that, and like, it really does. And but yesterday I felt good because I was at my church for the seniors coffee, and it kind of, yeah, and then I asked the senior pastor about the coffee mugs that they had, because I wanted one, and he said I could just grab one. They were free to grab it. But I'm kind of a, right now I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because, well, I don't really I'm kind of at odds with where I am, and like, like, well, like, one thing is that when my parents met, my maternal grandparents did not approve of her of that relationship and that, and it's like, I don't know what to, I don't know who to believe. They were saying they're saying that my dad still wanted to live his life, but it never that kind of life just never seems to work out. I think my dad found that out to his total dismay, and and then my dad says that there's so much demanding, and I think my grandmother was a Karen, and just the OCD and all that, and but now she's got Alzheimer's dementia, and it's like, it hurts me just to see her like that. But on one hand, she's accepting where she is right now, and just accepting that she's not aware of what's happening, and but as a Christian, and that's been newly baptized. I've realized. So I just realized that like sometimes things never work out, and you know, I mean, we don't have a choice about the life we're born into, but it just, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, it makes us a fighter. But I know that somehow, like, it's like, as a Christian, I don't believe in signs or any marks or anything, like, we're not supposed to believe in all that kind of stuff. The end mark in our palms or whatever. Because it's really just all pagan stuff and just, you know, but, like, like, I can't, I mean, I have to keep rolling with the punches and fight back every wave of doubt I have. And, it kind of, but I also know that we should not believe in coincidence or luck. We know that things are always meant to be, and, like, it just, there's just so many things I miss so much about, the way things were, but we can't go back to that, and it's like I'm having second thoughts about leaving Red Deer, but now, sometimes it just doesn't feel the same, and, just can't go back to what the old life, and, like, I used to want to be able to create my own little world, little blocks and all that, but, like, yes, that's just the way destiny is sometimes, like, so, like, it just real, like, heard about, like, Victoria Beckham and her son Brooklyn just finally breaking the silence about how he was treated and all that, and he was just to try and keep it in for such vanity, and I mean, there's always different interpretations, but vanity is something that we should never have to go live under. Like, yeah, and I admit that even all my life I've been so vain and all that. But you know what? It's time to throw that vanity away. Like, even back in high school, I was so vain, and I tried to keep to myself, but it's like everyone thinks it's like everyone says all the girls think that I'm handsome, and just want to, I just set them on a wild goose chase, and just, yeah, and I just wondering, then I wonder about going back to school to learn something, and I just, it would be on the table if I had the money, of course, but like, so, there are things that we all have taken for granted, and like, so, yeah, and people are, like, I realize even a lot of people, well, it, there's a lot of people that are so vain, and sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes what you see is not always what you get. But I'm kind of a, like, I mean, I've never felt, I've never known that. Yeah, it really, it really does get to you. Like when you're always, when you're all, it's like when you've always, it's like when I'm always so beating myself down, like, because I'm, I try, like I get myself up in space and then I hit the floor and just, it really just, it really does. When you hit the floor, it really hurts, Like, get off my high horse and then just all of a sudden, just, yeah. It, it really all makes sense, You see all those celebrities that just seem to have it all, but they've suffered bad relationships and have had mental health problems, and and like a lot of people quickly tire of their smartphones and then they just want the next model, but not. But like more, like you get a bonus, but the initial excitement fades so fast when your life doesn't get better. It's like you always want more, and like, you know, yeah, like there's a lot. Like I have a lot of repentance to figure out, to, like I have to, yeah, I really need to and realize where I was wrong, and like, tonight I'm going to a Bulldogs game, and then I'm questioning whether I should take a video of it or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, like I'm just, I'm completely at odds, and like, I mean, hopefully I can get the supports in and they see any, then I can be able to have, but then I realize there's going to be more rules when I do get my own place with assisted living. Like I need to vacuum more regularly, and like, yeah. Oh, sorry, my camera went dead, and so, anyways, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of, there's so many things I've been thinking about, and just, it really kind of, it's really mind blowing, and we try to live up to what we think others think of us, and and maybe I'm no different to it too. I admit, just you know, like, what is it that I'm supposed to us to think and all that, you know, like, and sometimes I just, you know, like, if I could if it was possible on Saturday and on Sunday, then I would go to church, but it's gonna depend on a lot of things that's go on in this house and all that. Because I'm in respite now, and sometimes I just need to get away and like, like, yeah, it really does kind of. It really does, I really get so. I really get so confused because I'm just not. Well, for one, like, I'm not, like I said, I'm like the. I may have said this before, but I'm not that kind of happy-go-lucky kind of person, no. Like, and my lips just kind of barely move because it's like I can be a ventriloquist and all. Even back in school, I was so shy, and like, I mean, yeah, like, why would all the girls want a shy guy like me? Like, and so now sometimes I just look at all the other people, or women, and just wonder, like, it's hard to tell if it's a young woman or a little young, or like a teenage girl or whoever. But yeah, teenagers are so vain nowadays, and like, I need some other Christian friends to tell me that how far off I am, and it's just, it really does. It gets scary especially when I don't know where I'm gonna go. So, yeah, like, for one, like, I've heard about the Strauss-Howe generational theory. Like, the winter is like the crisis, and then the springtime, like, the sweet spot is when we start rebuilding, and yeah, everything's rebuilding, and that's when the boomers were born. Yeah, it's like the boomers just kind of they just hit the sweet spot of this cycle, and about 80 to 100 years old cycle. Like, then my mom was like on the nomads, like the boomers were also known as the prophets. The nomads were like the Generation X, and my mother's generation, basically. And like, it's a time of awakening. Like, like, it's all of a sudden we're awake and we realized, the old systems are starting to not work anymore. And then my generation, the millennials, are born in a time of unraveling, and Yep, and like the whole system's unraveling, it's not working anymore, and yeah, and now where we are in now is the crisis. From the pandemic to the wars, now to like the tribulation period. It's just already beginning. Yeah, the crisis. You know, when the time when like oh, like older Gen Zs to Gen Zs to about Generation Alpha and then Beta, and I'm guessing the Generation Beta. You know, like a lot of members of Generation Z are just. A study have found is that they're a lot less. They have a lower IQ than their parents. Yeah, like there's been like videos of Generation like 2. The guy learns that his son and his nephew just can't even spell words. Like they don't know how to spell. I'll even like long words like philosophy and all that. You know, like they have. It's like they're I don't know, like it's like they're learning a new language, learn how to speak and abbreviate words. Just, you know, like everything's unraveling. Our whole society is unraveling, and it's only a matter of time before it all comes to a head, because the Great Tribulation, well, in about 3.5 years from now, I believe will hit, and after that comes the judgments of the 7 bowls of judgment. So, you know, it's gonna come. You know, the end of the world is coming, and then last, and then after that, like after the tribulation has ended, is the new millennium. A time, 1,000 years of notice, where there will no longer be a period of deception. And, yeah, for at least 1,000 years. You know, like, I believe I know who the Antichrist could be. It could be Jared Kushner. That's just my theory anyway, so. Yeah, tribulation's around the corner, so. You know, like the veil's been torn, and now, because even we could be thrown into civil war. Because in the United States, like, black people are assaulting white people, and yeah, like, America could just as well be the 13th tribe of Israel too. The tribe of Dan the Snake. You know, like, it does. You know, like, the puzzle pieces keep coming together, you know, like, it does. Like, so, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if I have to be stay low for at least 3.5 years, and, you know, I mean, I know it goes by so fast, and people are going to be brainwashed. Going to go through brainwashing and torture, because we're going to end up being, this country is going to be sold to China. Yeah, so Anyways, that's about all I can say, and then I'll just keep, just don't let hope just slip away, and so until next time, you just stay tuned.